And sovereign Shelomo loved many foreign women, in addition to the daughter of Pharaoh, Moabite, Ammonite, Edomite, Sidonian, and Hittite women, from the nations of whom Yahuah had said to the children of Israel, "You do not go into them, and they do not go into you, for they shall certainly turn away your hearts after their mighty ones." Shelomo clung to these in love, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. And it came to be, when Shelomo was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other mighty ones, and his heart was not perfect with Yahuah his Elohim, as was the heart of his father, David. And Shelomo went after Ashtoreth, the mighty one of the Sidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. Thus Shelomo did evil in the eyes of Yahuah, and did not follow Yahuah completely, like his father David. Then Shelomo built a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, on the hill that is east of Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And so he did for all his foreign wives, who burned incense and slaughtered to their mighty ones. Therefore Yahuah was enraged with Shelomo, because his heart had turned away from Yahuah Elohim of Yisrael, who had appeared to him twice, and had commanded him concerning this word, not to go after other mighty ones. But he did not guard what Yahuah had commanded. And Yahuah said to Shelomo, "Because you have done this, and have not guarded my covenant and my laws, which I have commanded you, I shall certainly tear the rain away from you, and give it to your servant. Only I do not do it in your days, for the sake of your father David. Out of the hand of your son I shall tear it. Only I shall not tear away all the rain, but give one tribe to your son, for the sake of my servant David, and for the sake of Jerusalem, which I have chosen." And Yahuah raised up an adversary against Shelomo, Hadad the Edomite. He was of the seed of the sovereign in Edom. And it came to be, when David was in Edom, and Joab the commander of the army had gone up to bury the slain, after he had struck every male in Edom. Joab remained there with all Yisrael for 6 new moons, until every male in Edom was cut off. That Hadad fled to go to Mitzrayim, he and certain Edomites of his father's servants with him, while Hadad was still a little child. And they arose from Midian, and came to Paran, and took men with them from Paran, and came to Mitzrayim, to Pharaoh sovereign of Mitzrayim, who gave him a house, and ordered food for him, and gave him land. And Hadad found much favor in the eyes of Pharaoh, so that he gave him as wife the sister of his own wife, the sister of sovereigness Tapenes. And the sister of Tapenes bore him Genubath his son, whom Tapenes weaned in Pharaoh's house. And Genubath was in the house of Pharaoh, among the sons of Pharaoh. And Hadad heard in Mitzrayim that David slept with his fathers, and that Joab the commander of the army was dead. And Hadad said to Pharaoh, "Let me go to my land." And And Pharaoh said to him, "But what have you lacked with me, that you are now seeking to go to your own land?" And he answered, "No, but please let me go." And Elohim raised up another adversary against him, Rezon son of Eliada, who had fled from his master, Hadadezer sovereign of Tsobah, and gathered men to him, and became commander over a raiding band. When Dawid killed those of Tsobah, and they went to Damasek, and dwelt there, and reigned in Damasek. And he was an adversary of Yisrael all the days of Shelomoh, besides the trouble that Hadad caused. And he was hostile to Yisrael, and reigned over Aram. And a servant of Shelomoh, Yerobam son of Nebat, an Ephraimite from Sereda, whose mother's name was Seruah, a widow, also lifted up a hand against the sovereign. And this is what caused him to lift up a hand against the sovereign. Shelomoh had built Millo, repairing the breaks in the city of Dawid his father. And the man Yerobam was a brave man, and Shelomoh, seeing that the young man was doing his work well, made him the officer over all the compulsory labor of the house of Joseph. And it came to be at that time, when Yaroboam went out of Jerusalem, that the prophet Ahiah the Shilonite met him on the way, and he was wearing a new garment, and the two were alone in the field. And Ahiah took hold of the new garment that was on him, and tore it into 12 pieces, and said to Yaroboam, "Take for yourself 10 pieces, for thus said Yahuah, the Elohim of Yisrael, see, I am tearing the reign out of the hand of Shelomoh, and shall give 10 tribes to you, but he shall have 1 tribe for the sake of my servant Dawid, and for the sake of Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Yisrael, because they have forsaken me, and bow themselves to Ashtoreth, the mighty one of the Sidonians, to Chemosh, the mighty one of the Moabites, and to Milcom, the mighty one of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways, to do what is right in my eyes, and my laws, and my right rulings, as did his father Dawid. But I do not take all the reign out of his hand, because I have made him ruler all the days of his life for the sake of my servant Dawid, whom I chose because he guarded my commands and my laws. And I shall take the reign out of his son's hand and give it to you, the 10 tribes. And to his son I give 1 tribe, so that my servant Dawid shall always have a lamp before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen for myself, to put my name there. So I take you, and you shall reign over all that your being desires, and you shall be sovereign over Yisrael. And it shall be, if you obey all that I command you, and shall walk in my ways, and do what is right in my eyes, to guard my laws and my commands, as my servant Dawid did, then I shall be with you, and build for you a steadfast house, as I built for Dawid, and shall give Yisrael to you. And because of this, I humble the seed of Dawid, but not forever." And Shelomoh sought to kill Yaroboam, but Yaroboam rose up and fled to Mitzrayim, to Shishak, sovereign of Mitzrayim, and was in Mitzrayim until the death of Shelomoh. And the rest of the acts of Shelomo, all that he did, and his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the acts of Shelomo?
And the days that Shelomo reigned in Jerusalem over all Yisrael was 40 years.
So Shelomo slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of Dawid his father, and Rehoboam his son reigned in his place.